My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial and keep the faith.
Welcome back to Media Madness. My name is Thomas, and we all saw the news last night about James Comey getting indicted for lying to Congress 5 years ago relating to the Russia-Trump hoax. But this led me on a path to discovery. I've not been following this story super closely, but it led me on a path of discovery to James Comey's Substack account, where he describes himself as former government person, author, teacher, grandfather, tall, and really quite funny. So let's see how true that is. We're going to start with the video he made in the immediate aftermath of the indictment, where he issues a sort of call to action to the American people to keep the faith. Let's have a trial.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump, but we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees.
Now he lives on his knees.
And you shouldn't either. Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant, and she's right. But I'm not afraid, and I hope you're not either. I hope instead you are engaged, you are paying attention, and you will vote like your beloved country depends upon it, which it does. My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial and keep the faith.
What a douchebag. Now, I have to be totally honest with you. I'm not familiar enough with the particulars of this case to say whether James Comey deserves this treatment or not from a legal standpoint, but in the court of media madness, he's guilty until proven innocent. And I'll show you why he should be thrown in the darkest and deepest dungeon that exists, regardless of whether he lied under oath. Just because of this Substack, which I've just learned about this morning, he titles every entry, which is are updated on a weekly basis, with "on insert subject here," like he's a philosopher or something. So let's start with "on laughter" from July 27th. Let's see what James Comey has to say about laughter, since he describes himself as really quite funny in his Substack biography.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my Substack. This week I want to offer some thoughts on laughter. But to do that, I kind of have to start in a strange place with Donald Trump.
Oh.
Don't let him become your summer obsession. He's working really hard at that right now, acting, as I saw someone say, like a movie villain trying to get away by running through a hotel kitchen, pulling pots and pans off the shelves in an attempt to slow his pursuers. It's loud and it's crazy, but it's not intended for you, because you aren't chasing him. It's his wingnut supporters who are running after him through the kitchen. And yes, there is a certain pleasure in watching conspiracists turn on the master and teach Donald Trump that the hardest part of dancing with a bear is the stopping. But don't let his crashing pots and
in limericks here. Like, dude, shut up. You're not a poet.
pans fill your life, please. Find something healthier. Think back to the summer of 2023, when Barbie was what we talked about. And the president was also an old guy, but he was quiet. And we had no idea that Taylor and Travis were already secretly dating. That kind of thing should be your obsession right now.
Oh, those pre-lapsarian days before we knew Taylor and Travis were actually dating. I know this was James Comey's summer obsession. For someone who said he doesn't live on his knees, these interests sound pretty gay. As former FBI director, I really miss those salad days, the summer of 23, when the American people were obsessed not with politics, but with Barbie and Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I really miss when the president was old, decrepit, and quiet, when the presidency was just a ceremonial role and the three-letter agencies could puppeteer the skin suit of FDR until the end of time without any supervision.
Trump's still going to be crazy and dishonest in September. So read a book, watch a movie, go to the beach. Although don't Instagram any interesting shell formations you see, please. And most of all, laugh. There's far too little of that in the world of Donald Trump. When was the last time you saw Trump or his Republican minions genuinely laugh? I don't mean a sinister cackle at the pain of others. I mean a warm chuckle or a belly laugh, maybe even a spit take. You don't see it because real humor requires both humility and empathy. That's because most good jokes are rooted in a recognition of our own weakness or the absurdities and contradictions of our lives. And laughing at somebody else's joke requires both acknowledging their cleverness and looking a little bit silly yourself. Today's MAGA types struggle to do any of that. The best comedians poke fun at themselves and reassure the audience that
The best
they aren't
comedians poke fun at James Comey.
the only
That's my
ones who
contention.
struggle or worry or do dumb things. As a result, they help us laugh together. Laughter heals and connects. I like the comedian Nate Bargatze because he makes me see my own foolishness. And in the process, he generates real warmth in a crowd of thousands of people. So don't be like the grouchy, sad Trumpists. Laugh and connect. So my ask this week is that you find ways to chuckle, to laugh, maybe even a spit take, and find more productive obsessions than some angry old man in the Oval Office
What is this obsession with spit takes?
announcing who he's going to put in jail or what the names of our sports team should be. There's more important stuff out there. For all we know, Taylor and
Yeah, there's more important stuff out there, like the Barbie movie and consuming content.
Travis could be secretly engaged. We can only hope and keep the faith.
I hope they chain this guy to a damp cell until the end of time. This guy is so gay. He made a whole video about Taylor Swift on August 17th.
Back to my Substack.
It's kind of a dry time in the news, to be honest with you. So
Last
maybe
week's
it can
cold
be
turns
forgiven.
out to have been COVID. Quite a flashback. And Donald Trump is still president and still humiliating America on a national stage, standing next to Vladimir Putin. It's like a dream, a bad dream you can't wake up from. But I don't want to talk about that bad dream this week. I want to talk about a truly inspirational public figure named Taylor Swift. Of course, I watched her podcast interview with the Kelsey brothers. Of course, I watched the whole thing, although on YouTube, Patrice and I got kicked off for the last 15 minutes and finished it on her phone. But I watched it. You see, Taylor Swift and I go way back. I went to my first concert of hers 15 years ago. I've been to a second, and I have helped financially support the attendance of a lot of family members at others. I'm in a family's Swiftie group chat. I know all her music, and I listen to it in my headphones when I cut the grass. So yes, I have a favorite of hers, although honestly for me it's a tie between All Too Well, 10-minute version, and Exile featuring Bon Iver. Taylor Swift has grown up with my family and provided us a soundtrack, really, as we've grown ourselves and learned and adapted.
I read this strange book years ago I read this strange book by a woman named Camille Paglia years ago called Sexual Personae. And she has this theory that gay men of modernity, especially those who idolize glamorous celebrity women, are like the eunuchs of the past, the court eunuchs who idolized the women that they were protecting in the royal house. I think this is the phenomenon we're seeing here. James Comey is very clearly a homosexual. Now let's let the eunuch continue.
And dealt with adversity and celebration. She had songs for all of it. I suspect that's something that millions of Americans have also experienced in their families. I think that's because Taylor Swift produces great art, but also because she models something. At every stage of her career, she's shown a certain way of being that resonated with my kids and also felt right to me as a parent. And she's still doing that as a grown-up.
Okay,
Like
dude,
a lot of you,
I
I
can't
struggle
do
with
this
how to
anymore.
stand up.
I can't watch this guy anymore. You'll have to go check out more of this for yourself. But I'm going to close off with a plea to Donald Trump and to the government. Please suspend the First Amendment just so that we can throw James Comey in jail for these Substack posts alone. I don't care what he did with the Trump-Russia thing. I don't care about anything else. This is jail-worthy by itself. We need to marshal the resources of the entire federal government to throw this guy in the pillory and throw rotten fruit at him until the end of time. That's really my take. I don't have anything else to say about it. So thank you again for watching Media Madness. My name is Thomas. Let's throw James Comey in jail. Let's rally the troops here. Keep the faith. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe below, or James Comey will be the host in perpetuity of Media Madness going forward. And have a good weekend, guys. We'll see you next time.